Hi, this is our sixth session of Urban Shadows, organised through the Open Hearth Gaming calendar. You can find out more about that at openhearthgaming.com. Last week we had a shorter session. I was having a lot of connection problems. Touch wood, that will be better this week. We'll see. So I guess we'll start just by getting the players to introduce themselves and their characters. Let's go left to right across the keeper. So Ethan, are you okay to lead
Sure.
us off?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Ethan. I use they them pronouns. I'm playing Vicente the Fae, who is um I don't I believe last time we left him in the Fae world, agreeing against his better judgment to help his rival. Uh, that's definitely not going to go badly at all. Especially when he probably is going to, back out of that agreement at the, dumbest possible time.
That sounds great. What a plan. Thank you. David?
Hi, folks. I am David S. He, him pronouns. I am playing as Cathy, she, her, the Ghost Playbook. And, where I last left off, I'm kind of in the middle of trying to uh, two things kind of decide whether or not to give up my engagement ring to resolve my anchor to Thomas and just kind of let him go. And I'm also in the process of trying to get a hold of a dagger from Cleopatra the vampire. And I've got a whole bargain as to how that's going to play out too.
Yeah, cool. And Zeke?
Hi, I'm Zeke. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Regis, who uses the veteran playbook. He also uses he, him pronouns. And right now, he is just trying to determine where he stands in between wizards and mortals.
Cool. So we talked a little bit about what happened last time before we started the recording, but yeah, just to recap, especially what happened during time passes. So we had our first sort of downtime phase a couple of sessions back, and yeah, Eva's fairy drug ring got into a sort of shooting war with a rival sort of organized crime non-magical drug ring, and that has really weakened his operation. So a lot of his best shooters were either killed or arrested. The police are looking into them. His magical resources are still quite strong, but human his capacity for human violence has been greatly diminished. Um, what we didn't talk about last week, which I was sort of holding for Maximus, but Stephen's not here again, so we'll see how we go. Um, the propitious order's also been having some problems. So uh, there's just been absolute chaos in the order. There's been infighting, accusations thrown around, but that settled down a little bit now because what they sort of figured out was that they weren't really dealing with an internal power struggle, but that they'd been the victim of outside agitators. Specifically, some sort of radical group had somehow infiltrated their dreams to turn them against each other. So things have calmed down a bit since they worked that out. They've sort of fortified their dreams a little to make it harder. But the order is a bit of I mean, not quite a laughing stock in the supernatural communities, but certainly their reputation has taken a hit. Um, yeah. So just thinking about where we're going to start today, let's. Uh, David, I have an idea for a scene with Cathy, but is there anything that you wanted to do before we get to that?
Go ahead.
All right. So I think that Cleopatra has come to see you, probably after dark in the park that she knows that you hang out. You see her, wandering around looking ominous and vampiric in the dark, and she finds her way to you. Will you let her find you?
Yeah, I mean, she can probably sense my presence as a vampire, and once it's clear that she's sort of got a bead on me, I'll go ahead and just apparate before her.
Okay. Um, This is Cathy. I just wanted to check in. The meeting that we discussed is tomorrow. I want to make sure that you're still prepared to keep Maximus away. And she takes the dagger out of her coat as she says that, sort of, strokes it, makes a real spectacle of holding it in front of you.
I'm trying to see here. Is there a... Yeah. Can I maybe try to figure someone out here?
Yeah, you sure can.
Okay.
Go ahead
Yeah.
and roll with mind.
I know I ask this every time, but we don't have a dice roller for this, right? I just want to make sure I don't have the...
That's right. We can
Okay.
have one if people want. I started using witch dice for some of my games, and that's been quite good.
I really like that one.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll just make a witch dice room, and we can use that. If anyone wants to keep
Okay.
rolling physical dice,
I'll,
that's totally
I'll, I'll
fine.
go ahead and roll my 2d6 just for right now, but that'd be good for the future. And
Yeah.
I get 8 natural plus mind, which for me, switching tabs, mind is a -1 for me, so 7.
Okay, so you can ask 2 of those questions, and they're going to ask one of you as well.
Okay. What's this character's beef with Maximus?
Okay, so it's clear that Cleopatra is her interest in this, a mercenary. She's being paid. She doesn't have any particular problem with Maximus, but whoever she's working with from the, there has to be a traitor within the order who wants to make sure that the order's, cop doesn't create trouble for them. So whoever she's working for is scared of Maximus.
Whoever she's working for. It's not a personal thing.
Yes.
Okay. And then what does she worry is going to happen?
Well, she's worried that Maximus is going to turn up, and she's not sure if she could take him in a straight fight.
Interesting. And it looks, we're in the same circle, so I think I get an additional question, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do I know who she's working for yet? Because I could ask who's pulling your character's strings.
So far, you don't know.
I'll ask that question. Who is pulling Cleopatra's strings?
So I guess I have a question in the fiction about like how you would work that out from this interaction. Like you can figure someone out to like work out her motivations, things that you can intuit just from talking to someone. But I'm not sure that you can work out like the name of the person who's controlling her from this interaction.
Okay. Could I get the circle that they're in and then I can follow up later?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So it's someone from the order, someone who's, planning to betray the order. So that makes them in power.
Okay.
You're even welcome to ask another question because I think that Cathy probably knew that.
Right.
From the
Okay.
question
So there's a
that we
traitor within power and she's kind of working for them, afraid she can't take Maximus in a fight. Okay, so my question then, maybe let's try this. What does Cleopatra hope to get from her benefactor? Whoever it
money.
is.
Money.
Okay.
She's fully motivated by money.
Okay.
And she gets to ask you a question since you rolled a 7 to 9. So she's going to ask, what does your character worry is going to happen?
Oh, I'm worried that Maximus is going to find out that I'm sort of backstabbing him. Sort of. I'm backstabbing him.
Okay. All right. So let's pause the scene there and we'll come back and have it play out some more of the actual discussion. But I want to go to Vicente and Regis. So I was thinking of starting us off with a scene that brings the two of you together, assuming that Vicente returned to the mortal world. Does that work for you both?
Works for me.
All right. You weren't planning to do any more Fae shenanigans right now?
No, it's okay.
Okay. So I'm not quite sure about the framing of this scene, but as you said, Ethan, Vicente has promised, Eva that he will try and convince Rick to hand over this prison.
Mhm.
So I understand you don't really intend to do that.
Maybe Regis is at the location of the potential prison, and Vicente finds him there.
Okay. So whereabouts is that?
Um, where did I don't know that we determined. I think that was one of the sticking points.
So there's two things, right? So you've got the one that you've been building for Maximus, which I assume is probably in your workshop.
Yeah.
There was discussion that you might start building a second one in this abandoned church, but there's a werewolf problem there. So if you've
Yep.
gone there, you're probably going to have to deal with the werewolves. Maybe you've even recruited Vicente to try and help you with that, if that would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe I'm checking out trying to see if the werewolves have moved on, and Vicente meets me there.
Okay. So you're somewhere near enough to the church to observe it, because you're definitely going to figure out that I don't know. The smell of wolfsbane tells you that there's still definitely werewolves around.
That's fair.
I can get rid of them temporarily. They probably won't want to come back, but maybe,
I mean, if I build this prison here, it's going to cause some magical fallout, and they're definitely not going to want to come back.
let's give them a warning shot of magical fallout here.
How about we come up with a game plan before we start?
Sure. Yeah. That might be a good idea.
So by us coming up with a game plan, can I trigger best laid plans?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay, cool. 2d6 plus mind. Oh, nice. So that is 10 plus. So
nice. It turns out you can make a plan.
Yeah, for once I actually did come up with something. So all right, nice.
All right. So you've got 3 hold. You can spend it 1 for 1 to either add +1 to someone's roll, dismiss all harm someone suffers from a single attack, or ensure that you have the exact gear that you need on hand. Oh, sorry. I didn't see that Stephen had joined. I'll just add him.
Yep, hey. Sorry about that. I was on the wrong StreamYard.
Completely
no worries. So just to loop you in, so we are recording. Let me know if that's not okay. Cathy is meeting with Cleopatra to talk about, you basically, and Vicente and Regis have gone to try and clear some werewolves out from an abandoned church. And there are some problems in the propitious order, which we'll get to in just a minute. Regis and Vicente, what do you do?
I will defer to the fairy for making chaos and confusion.
I mean, look, if there's one thing I know how to do, it's make chaos. I don't know how to solve, make order at all, but chaos I can do. I would like to let it out.
All right.
I remember how to do that, because I think I've only done that once.
So
roll with spirit.
Roll with spirit. Cool. Let's try this new dice roller.
Stephen, I'm not sure if you can see comments that were posted before you joined the session, but I made a dice roller if you want to use it.
Yeah, I don't have access to that, so I will need to repost it.
Yeah, no worries. Ooh, that is a 6 total.
That is a 6. Yes.
How about
Perfect time.
yeah, we I had a bit of Rowan on hand, and you were able to like kind of like break it and get a tiny bit of power back. And I say I give you a +1 to that, so it turns into a 7.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So on a hit, you mark corruption and activate the ability, and I have to tell you how the effect is costly, limited, or unstable.
Excellent.
What let it out ability are you using?
I want to summon an elemental storm of my court
Ooh,
in this abandoned church.
okay. And it's costly, limited, or unstable.
I
And
mean, yeah, probably all the above.
like, what are you hoping this will achieve? Like, is the intention?
I just want to freak them out and make them not want to be here anymore. That's my ultimate. My immediate goal is to cause a blizzard inside a building.
Okay. So maybe like, sorry, I'm just trying to think about like, I want to give you like the benefit of your hit and that my like unstable doesn't sort of undermine it completely. Would it make sense that, they are sort of driven out of the church, but, like not so much discombobulated or distracted, but, now they're looking for a fight? Does that feel like it?
Yes, that absolutely will
Okay.
work.
So
They're
we're
less
gonna
freaked out by this than I predicted.
All right. So we're just going to pause you there. We'll come back to see how you deal with these angry werewolves. But Stephen, I want to pick up with Maximus. So
Okay.
actually, I just want to fill you in briefly on what happened during Time Passes because you weren't here for that. So Eva's drug ring got into a sort of battle with a rival drug ring and suffered some heavy losses. So Eva is still quite magically powerful, but his capacity for human violence is diminished. The Propitious Order also has been having some problems. Basically, some unknown group of student radicals managed to infiltrate their dreams and use that to sort of turn some of the members against each other. There was a big, a lot of infighting, a lot of chaos in the group. Eventually, they figured out, this was sort of outside agitators influencing them. They've warded their dreams so it won't happen again. But it's a real sort of like some damage to their reputation for, power and control. That's something that could even happen. And definitely Desmond Beecham, the head of the order, has angrily called you in to talk about this. I don't know if you want to start with that meeting or if there's other things that you want to do. Also, from your city move, have an ally who can get you a meeting with Gunther from the Exorcists if you wanted to follow up on that.
Okay, and I still needed to do the exorcist. Right, I did also, I think I got a contact with the exorcists, right?
Yeah, so I think that what your city move got you, according to my notes, is that you have an ally who can put you in touch with the Exorcists.
Okay. Cool.
If you want, like, I mean, I don't know that we need to play things out with that ally. I'm happy to just skip over that and bring you to a meeting with Gunther if that's what you want.
I think who is the ally? Because I think I need to owe them like one debt for like securing it for me, right?
Right. Well, yeah, so we didn't establish who the ally is, but do you want to tell us about who you know who can get you a meeting with the Exorcists?
Let me see here.
Do we have someone in our city hub?
Yeah, I'm seeing if I have someone I could already
I mean, Mark Zheng, the charismatic werewolf and art dealer, is known for sniffing out talent and secrets.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest him.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I can owe him a debt.
All right. And does that mean that you are going to be meeting with the Exorcists first, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I think that was my plan, to have the meeting with the exorcists.
Sure. Okay, and is it so it's specifically Gunther that you've been asked to investigate? Are you meeting with him in particular, or with his allies, like what, or his enemies? How are you? Who exactly are you meeting with?
Okay, my impression was not just like investigate. Like I was like supposed to be like trying to recruit him.
Yeah, so I think the suggestion was that he is interested in joining the order, and they want you to vet him a little bit and make sure that that would, you know, that that's okay. And if it is, then go ahead with bringing him in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, yeah, I think I am uh having like an official meeting with him.
Hmm.
I'm bringing my sword along because it's an official meeting, you know.
Sure. Are you meeting him at the like gentleman's club for the order that we established a while ago, or is there somewhere else?
I think this is like we wouldn't be hosting him there. That's a
Okay.
place of power. He doesn't have membership yet, of course.
Sorry, that's a foolish question.
Um, I think I am meeting him at like a really like low grade club. Like I think it's almost a tiny bit insulting to meet him here.
Hmm. Well, in that case, he'll definitely have brought along like a couple of like hot young men who are obviously his, lovers slash hangers on.
Okay.
He's trying to make himself look impressive to you. That's you don't even need to figure him out to see that.
I yawn and say, and here I thought exorcists were only interested in the dead.
Exorcists have a wide range of interests, worldly and otherwise.
Well, it's good to see that at least your extracurricular passions tend towards the living. I'd be worried otherwise.
Well, I've heard that your appetites are quite wide ranging, but yes, I prefer the warm flesh of the living.
And I'm also wondering, like, how much do they know that I was the one that like fucked with their organization?
Would you want to figure him out?
Yeah, I mean, I think this repartee is kind of us feeling each other out.
Yeah, I see that.
Let me make the die roller here. Let me roll the dice here.
Mhm.
And +2. Okay, that's a 10. And they're
Nice.
also a member of Powers, so I get 3 questions.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the first question I want to ask here is, well, do I want to ask that? Yeah, I guess that was literally the thing I was asking. What's your character's beef with me? Like, do you have beef with me, but that I should be aware of at this point?
I guess he's just gonna, he's gonna say, look, we've had our problems in the past, but now I think our interests are aligned. I'm not one to hold a grudge, and I assume that you, at least in your official capacity, are not either. So I don't think there's any beef between us.
Mm-hmm. How could I put your character in my debt?
Oh, if you arrange his entry into the order, he'd be in your den for sure.
Hmm.
I mean, oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, were you going to say something more?
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of like what he says about, not having any beef with you, there's an edge of need there. Like his his political position has gotten more tenuous. His order is sort of falling around a little. He really needs your help, and he might not be so forgiving otherwise.
Yeah, and let's see. I was double checking to see if the next thing I was going to say is hitting any of my corruption triggers, and I guess it is. I look and I nod and say, I'll be clear here when I know that you are interested in joining the order. I'll be clear here and say that the order, however much it might be trying to court you, I'm aware they're after what you have. So I can arrange your entry, but I'm hoping that this might be repaid at some point, that you'll make certain that certain assets of yours are kept somewhere hidden prior to any official uh, entry.
Are you asking me to conceal my assets from the order?
I'm saying that the order is not as stable as it seems right now. I think it will be in your best interest to join. A lone exorcist, I'm sure, has many demons after him. But I'm making it clear that there are some people, like myself in the order, you can trust, and there are others. And who is the person that gave me this job?
Desmond Beecham, the
Yeah,
leader.
like Desmond, that see you just for the things you have, not the skills you bring with you. And I'm being totally upfront here. However, I realize I am um, totally revealing just a bunch of my faction secrets here.
Well, I think that Gunther is looking at you quite intensely. Like he's trying to work out if you're being forthcoming or if you have an angle.
I will say here my last question. How could I get your character to trust me on this?
Oh, good question. How could you get your character to trust me? Um, trying
Like
to
I got
think.
3 sessions to found my own faction chain, and I'm gonna get there.
I mean, you're doing pretty good already. Um, I think that he would trust you if he knew one of your secrets, a secret that, puts you at some risk. He wants something to hold over you just like you have something to hold over him.
I give a look at him and say, I know that we haven't had all seen eye to eye in the past, but I think what I'm working on now is something that you'll appreciate. I'm planning on capturing a high-ranking member of the fairy court, and
Who
I
would
need
that?
expertise in that endeavor.
I have some experience with capturing powerful spirits that might be of use to you. Who is it that you're trying to capture?
Vicente, who's your former? Sorry, it's been a while. It's been 2 weeks for me.
Ivar, who has been
Yeah.
causing trouble for everyone. So
Yep, I say Ivar.
Interesting. Oh. Eva would probably pay well for that information. All right. What do
But
I
I
need to
think
do?
you'll agree that the awards of capturing him would far outweigh anything Ivar would give you. I'm never one to trust Fey Gold.
You make a good point. All right. What do I need to do to enter the order?
Now let's see. Like, mechanically, are there things I should be doing here, or like otherwise I would be like I imagine I probably have some kind of stashes that I keep things in, but if you want me to make a roll for something here, I can.
I mean, I think we could just, like skip over fade to black as you go
Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
procedures of him entering the order.
Okay, that does fill up my my corruption clock though.
Lovely.
So
Well, I will come back to you, and you can think about how you're going to cash in
Yeah.
your corruption. So, Cathy, you're still in the park with Cleopatra. She wants to know, she's going to say to you outright, can I trust you to do what you've said you'll do?
Of course, I can't guarantee that I'll be successful, but I can have my word that I'll do everything I can.
I can't ask more than that. Is the dagger really that important to you?
I wish it wasn't, but I don't get to choose those things. I'm bound to it and it to me.
What do you think your friend will say when he realizes you've betrayed him?
I can only pray that he'll understand, that he'll offer me some sort of forgiveness, that I can make it up to him somehow, that he won't try to kill me.
Well, I hope so too. If you need protection, I'd give you a good rate.
One thing at a time, Cleopatra.
All right.
One thing at a time.
And she'll go over the details of where and when exactly this meeting is happening tomorrow. In an ostensibly, a warehouse on the East End, somewhat remote.
Okay. And the parties present are just going to be Ivar and this person and Cleopatra?
You needn't concern yourself with who'll be there exactly. Just make sure that Maximus is not among them.
The more you tell me, the better I can help you.
The only help I want from you is to keep your friend away. And I don't see how anything I tell you will help with that.
Oh. Suit yourself. I'll see if I can ascertain Maximus's plans and work around them.
All right. That sounds excellent. And she'll leave. What are your plans now?
Maximus, I'm trying to think. Are you aware of this meeting, or is this news to you?
I think so far Maximus hasn't learned of this meeting, but certainly knows that, something is afoot. Ivar's up to something. There may be a traitor in the order, that sort of thing.
Okay. I wonder, Maximus, maybe there's a way that you and I could have a scene together in which, I will try to ascertain what you know and what your plans are for tomorrow, and Likewise, you could kind of counter and try to see if there is something suspicious about my questioning. Maybe we could do like a PC scene.
Sure.
Yeah, that sounds cool to me. Where do you arrange to meet Maximus?
Maybe Maximus, could we meet at your place? Either that, or we could meet at the church that serves as my anchor.
Yeah, we can meet. You can meet at my place.
Nice.
Cool. And I'm trying to remember, what's your place like?
We haven't seen it. It's like terribly posh. Like classical art. Really expensive furniture. A cart, a drinks cart, with like mixer and some nice liquors.
Nice.
All things I wish I could partake in, I'll say, as I sort of apparate into the room.
All right, let's pause that there for a sec. I just want to pick up with Vicente and Regis and the raging werewolves. So, I don't know. I guess they're like sniffing the breeze. They're trying to figure out who's done this to them. Are you both sort of hidden away for now? What do you do?
I have I'm spending these hold probably too fast, but I'm going to have an RC car, the perfect equipment, and
Okay.
use that to distract them with noises in the distance.
Okay. So you've maybe even set up speakers and things like that to create the distraction in advance. And what are you doing while they're distracted?
I think I feel like I'm just damned if I do, damned if I don't with this this circle, because like the Fae know I'm untrustworthy if I don't make it, and know that I'm an enemy if I do. But I think I'm going to make the trap. So yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess.
you're gonna have to deal more directly with these werewolves. Like you've distracted them for now.
Oh,
But
okay. Did I see any of them? Could I have put a name to a face?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Uh,
Instead of putting a name to a face, I'm going to declare them an old friend, because that is one of my abilities.
Amazing.
Okay. So I roll with mind. So 2d6 plus 2. 2d6 plus 2. Okay. Oh, damn it. Nope, we're not
Well,
good friends.
You've got one last hold that you can spend here,
That's true.
which would bring it up to a hit.
Yeah. Yeah, I will do that. So I do owe them a debt.
Yeah, why do you owe them a debt? Tell us
Yeah.
about this werewolf. What's their name?
What is their name? Their name is Lucy. And I think I think they're like an older werewolf, and they were still like like they were maybe a young pup whenever I was still doing stuff actively, and I had needed something tracked down, and I had called upon them because they were such a great tracker. So I needed some sort of magical ingredient tracked down, and I had called upon this young new werewolf to do it. And I've tried to get them to relieve me of that debt over the years, and they just have never cleared me of that one. So
Okay, so they come racing out of the the church. They're angry. They're disoriented by the sounds that you've created. But you also recognize that one of them is an old friend. What do you do?
Um, I can I talk to Vicente?
Sure. Yeah, I think we sort of established that you've distracted them, so they're
Yeah.
heading off for a minute.
Oh,
You've got some time to talk.
okay, Vicente. So I just realized that's Lucy, who is good people. I don't want to mess up their stuff. Um, but like, Ivar's got you in a bind, right? I kind of need to do this.
Yeah, I mean, he's got both of us in a bind, but I mean, I don't think the werewolves just being there stops us from doing anything right now. Uh, so if you could just get her to let us use the place.
Okay. Yeah. She will offer me comfort and aid, even if it exposes her to danger. So, I guess I'm like, that RC car bit was really stupid. I guess I should have just gone out and talked to them. Um, so maybe I try and get Lucy alone and explain the situation to her.
Yeah, okay, so I guess she just agree because of the hit. She's going to agree to whatever you propose. So do you tell her that the fallout is going to be dangerous?
I think I might ask her if there's another place in her territory that would work, that is less exposed.
That you could use, or that she could go and
That I could
use.
use for the ritual instead of this church.
Um,
I mean, that's another favor. So, like, I would offer her a debt if necessary.
okay, and yeah, so what does she come up with? What's the other place in her territory that you can use?
Um, what is the other place in her territory that I can use? Maybe a. Well, I wanted something holy. If I was like, I should do it in a church. So, um, I don't know. Maybe it's like an old meeting hall, like a Unitarian or Quaker meeting hall, instead of like a
Okay,
classic church that's been abandoned. And so, like, it doesn't have necessarily the same energy that the werewolves are looking for, but it counts as holy.
okay, I think that works. And I think that we established that the church is abandoned because it was hit during the Blitz, and we're on the impoverished side of the city that hasn't been extensively rebuilt. So, probably some bomb damage, but serviceable for your purposes. Um, Vicente, definitely some of her like werewolf gang are sort of snarling at you pretty unhappily, even though their leader is, insisting that they're going to let you stay.
Yeah, I think I just try to look down. Guys, it's fine. We're gonna get out of your way pretty soon.
Well, Lucy will lead them away. Sorry, not lead you away. That Lucy, gives you the details about where this place is. Maybe that's the end of the scene, unless there's something else that you wanted to do here.
Yeah, I think I'm
Vicente,
good ending the scene here.
I think
Vicente,
I'll yell back like, "Don't worry, the snow will melt as soon as I leave."
Vicente, how are you feeling? Because you planned not to convince Regis to give Eva the prison, but
and it
now
turns
it's
out I
like
didn't have to because he was already going to do it.
and now it seems like you're helping him to do it.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
Like, I think I knew he was planning on doing something, but I didn't know he was going to go through with actually making the thing.
I didn't either. until we showed up at the church.
Yeah. So I think once we get to the other place, I'm like, so you're not actually going to give it to him, are you?
I don't know. I'm not part of the circle like the scene anymore. I think you are the one who knows better in this situation. So, I think maybe I'll trust your judgment.
I mean, for right, like, I don't have any fondness for the Winter Queen, but it seems like Vicente would not be better.
Ivar.
Ivar. Vicente also would not be better.
Yeah, that's what's got me conflicted as well. I don't want my old enemy to escape unscathed, but Ivar's right at arsehole.
On the other hand, he is your only chance of actually like doing anything to the Winter Queen, isn't he? So,
yeah.
I mean, maybe we do give it to him and then like have a plan to deal with him.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me. Would this trigger an intimacy move? Because I had made this important thing and said, "Hey, I trust you more than I do myself to figure out what to do with this."
I think
If
that
you
does.
think that it's an intimate moment, then yeah.
I think Vicente has to agree as well.
Yeah, I think so. I do not normally have people trusting me to make decisions.
So tell us about. Actually, we'll come back and we'll process the intimacy move after. Or actually, we're nearly. Maybe it's break time, so we'll take a 10-minute break. We'll come back and see Cathy talk to Maximus, and then we'll move into the intimacy move.
All right.
And
See you then.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm real happy that the Wi-Fi's been working okay.
I'm back.
Oh, me too.
So far, so good.
All right. So, David, I interrupted you before as you were telling us what Cathy was going to say to Maximus.
Oh, nothing important. I was just saying, I was kind of admiring all of the nice material items that Maximus keeps in his abode, and I was just making some cryptic comments about how it's been so much, so long since I could partake of these things. Just kind of saying it to him, but really not to anyone in particular at the same time. Now, Maximus, this is out of character. Just so you know, kind of my intent for the scene, I'm probably going to mechanically cash in a debt here and see if I can get you to agree to just do something for me that is not anywhere near this meeting place on the East End tomorrow night. I'm open to ideas from everybody as to what that distraction could be, and of course, Maximus, you always have the option to resist that. But that's just my overarching, like, here's the framing for the scene from my point of view.
Sure.
Does that sound okay to you, Maximus, to start with?
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. So for my part, then I'm going to apparate into this very posh maximalist room, and I'm kind of like able to be seen and heard but not touched, and yet you still see me kind of tracing my fingers spectrally along the outlines of the things that you have in your room. Not a ounce of dust is being disturbed because I'm not actually touching them. And eventually, after examining the contents of your abode for a little while, I will sort of turn to face you, maybe one strand of hair kind of dripping down the side of my face like widow's weeds, and I say, Maximus, I am afraid I have to come to you with a favor. One that I believe you owe me.
Of course, I say. But if you could perhaps explain what this favor I'll be doing for you is.
I know for a fact, I'm just going to make this up. I know for a fact that my esteemed colleague, Cleopatra, will be occupied tomorrow evening. Her haven will be unguarded. I trust that you are familiar with Cleopatra's Needle, lying in the heart of London.
Of course, but the last time we'd spoken, I didn't realize that Cleopatra was your esteemed colleague. I sip at my brandy.
Perhaps my dark humor does not get through. A colleague in name only, a member of the same circle, but a friend of mine, no. No, Cleopatra holds hostage an important dagger of mine, one that I have been owed for years now, and which she has neglected to relinquish. What say you to accompanying me to her haven tomorrow night, that we may see about lifting this dagger, which you know oh so well about? And this is where I make a reference to the debt that you owe me. You know this dagger well. What say you that we might take it once and for all?
Oh.
So this is like mechanically, I guess, where I'm cashing in the favor. So or the cashing in the debt. So I'll reduce the debt that you have down to 1.
Well, don't mark it yet because I have to accept it first.
Okay.
If I don't accept, you don't spend it.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. You're using that move, but then you determine whether you honor it or not.
Yeah.
So there's a move to refuse to honor a debt. So
I'm gonna play this out a little bit before I accept or refuse. I Thing is, how much of a abandoned puppy does Maximus view Cathy as? Because I'm just thinking if I would want to try to figure Cathy out.
Yeah, well, you can by all means. Yeah, I'm not playing myself up as pitiable, but maybe that's a ruse.
I mean, the thing is, you might not be playing yourself up that way. That is a tiny bit in Maximus's mind. Sorry. I say, are you certain you wouldn't at least want to try? I pour out another glass of the brandy. I can assure you that I only have the strongest spirits.
So you're offering me a drink here?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll mark trauma for a drink. It's just haven't we all at one point or another? All right. Well, I'll do that. So I'll materialize fully.
So tell me, how did you come into this information, Cathy?
She's taunted me with the dagger for some time. Some nights ago, when I was about prowling through night territory, I intercepted a couple of vampires who were preying on a mortal. And when I attempted to intervene, she showed up, brandishing the dagger, and essentially held it over me as leverage not to mess with her. But I'm not some kind of trained animal. You can't simply shake a stick at me and expect me to behave. Maybe in another life, but not now.
I am at this point. Figuring someone out here.
Yeah. Roll with mind.
Well, that's a 5, so you know.
Oh. Well, let's turn the move back on you. Cathy, why don't we treat that like you just rolled a hit to figure out, or at least that you can ask one of those questions of Maximus.
If it's not too on the nose, just how could I get Maximus to come with me to Cleopatra's Needle tomorrow night? Of course, that's kind of begging the question. Maybe you're gonna refuse that, you're gonna refuse the debt anyway. So I don't know.
I think the question still makes sense.
I mean, beyond the debt, I think that. Oh, I think if I'm just thinking here that if you were to bring in a lie about Ivor into all this, like you explicitly were adding that lie into everything, that might pull the last string that you need to get Maximus to go along with this.
If I bring Ivor into it somehow?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Make sure you're
Um,
extra lying to me, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is kind of a lie, kind of not. I might say that here's what I'll say. I'll say, and by the way, I get the sense that Cleopatra and Ivor may be running in similar circles at this time. There may be something about him at her haven. It's worth taking a look, don't you think?
I suppose you're right, Cathy. Sorry, I've been juggling, you could say, a lot of plates right now, spinning a lot of plates right now, and sometimes it can be easy to forget who to trust. And I throw back the rest of my brandy, and let's plan. Uh I'm going along with it, so I'll mark night. And you also can mark power if you have not marked it, but you have.
Okay, great. Thanks for the reminder. I would have missed
Right,
that probably.
and yeah, spend that debt. All right. So let's go back to Regis and Vicente here.
Actually, I'm just wondering. Throw it out there. Can I activate him? Well, no, because Kathy's definitely lying to me. But I said I trusted Cathy, but Kathy's lying to me, so it's probably not intimate for Cathy.
I'm being I'm a little guarded, I think.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Regis, tell us about your intimacy move.
Sure thing. So my intimacy move is that I tell a story about the past and the lessons I've learned. If the person I'm sharing the moment with takes my advice, hold one. I can spend the hold to give them 10 plus on a move they make while following my guidance. If they reject my wisdom, mark corruption.
Cool. So what's the story?
So yeah, am I right in assuming that Vicente's kind of like a loose cannon, like doesn't interact with the Winter Court very much anymore?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think Regis tells the story of how he like fell out with power, like with the wizards that he knew, and just how sort of lonely he's been, and how things have gotten out of control. How like the order has started recruiting exorcists who are clearly abusing spirits. Maximus branded my former mentor. That like maybe I could have kept things working, and I could have kept things in control if I had stayed, even though it got hard. Um, so I think I'm trying to give you hold to become part of the Winter Court again, to like um, to again be part of your community.
Okay, that's a good one.
But you get to reject that if you want.
Well, I did go back there last session and talk to a friend, and I think, yeah, I would like to see the people I know there again. I just am not in particularly good repute with the Winter Queen or with Ibar. That's kind of the problem. But that leads into so yes, I'll take that advice. It also leads into my intimacy move, which is to demand a promise, which is that if Ivar succeeds in overthrowing the Winter Queen, you're going to help me deal with him.
You have my word.
All right. It looks like we have part of a plan.
Yeah.
We have an intention to make a plan.
And I give over the code word or ritual hand movements or whatever that's needed to control the trap. So it's fully yours now.
Okay, awesome.
And in case you haven't, you also both like mark each other's circles for triggering the intimacy moves with each other. And I think mechanically. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I am power now, just so you know. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, Regis used an advance to become.
Oh, excellent.
Move back to power.
Gives me advantage.
And Vicente, I think that when you decided to try and talk Regis out of giving the prison to Eva, you were refusing to honor a debt.
Fair. Fair, yes.
So you roll with the difference in status between you and your creditor. Pretty sure you're still status 1. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
So that's going to be -2.
Okay. Seven.
It's not too bad. Let's see. What do you get? On a hit, you weasel out of the obligation for now, but you still owe the debt. Okay, so Eva gets to keep the debt. On a 7 to 9, you owe them an additional debt or mark corruption, your choice.
Well, you know what? I'm 1 away from my first corruption event, so I'll mark that.
Cool. All right. Stephen, you also filled your corruption track before, right? Did you take an advance?
If you're back, Stephen, I believe you're on mute.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying I was back.
Oh, sorry. I just asked. Sorry, I didn't realize you stepped away because I didn't notice in the chat. Sorry. I was just asking, what did you end up taking in a corruption advance?
Yes, I did.
Cool. What did you advance? What's the advance?
I took Infernal Affairs. When I turn to violence, I can mark corruption to roll a 10 and to take a 10 instead of rolling.
Nice. All right. So I think maybe it makes sense to frame the scene where Cathy and Maximus try to go and explore Cleopatra's lair the next night. Or is there anything that either of you wanted to do before we get to that?
I'm good.
No, that works for me.
Yeah, and then this is the night of the meeting, right?
Yeah, so the meeting is going on elsewhere in London. You've drawn Maximus here. You've been here before. Did you come in before? I don't remember. I know that you met with Cleopatra.
We were at a vampire bar when we met last. I don't know that I've been inside her lair.
Okay. So it's underneath the obelisk. You're able to find your way in there. She's not around, as you said. Just thinking about whether this triggers any moves. I don't really think so. Did either of you want to study a place of power before you headed in? I think Cathy might have studied this place of power before, but it's open to Maximus if you want.
I mean, I guess that would make sense. I feel like I definitely think because Cathy is definitely like, this is all BS for Cathy. Like there's nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go ahead and roll and see what I get.
All right. So are you studying the place of power once you're inside, or are you studying it from the outside? Like what?
I think once we're inside, if we want to
okay,
take the frame aggressively the scenes.
Yeah, I think that's cool. So go ahead and roll first, and then we'll describe.
Okay, that's a 3.
Oh, well, in that case, so what you see immediately is that it's a classic vampire lair underground. There's a a coffin in an enormous pile of dirt brought from wherever Cleopatra hails from. She must also have, a four-poster bed with velvet blankets and sheets and, fine furnishings, surprisingly fine for a cavern that shouldn't exist below the side of the Thames. But I guess that surely what we see for your three is that after the two of you get down here, Cathy, are you manifested at the moment?
Yeah, I suppose so. Just so that Maximus can kind of see me, and it doesn't appear that Maximus is just kind of walking around by himself. Yeah, I can be seen and heard.
Well, in that case, then as you get down in there and start exploring and looking around, you realize that three vampires have snuck in behind the two of you, and now they're advancing menacingly towards Maximus. And one of them hisses at you, Cathy. Spirit, get out of here. We don't care for you. What do you do?
Oh, away with you! You should know that I'm here while Cleopatra is out attending to much more important business. Don't interfere.
They're going to ignore that. They're going right for Maximus. They obviously intend you harm. Maximus, what do you do?
Wait. So did I? Maybe I'm confused about what the relationship between Cathy and Cleopatra is. That she can like just give orders to Cleopatra's minions.
Well, she clearly can't. The minions
Okay.
are ignoring.
I know, but that she expects to. I pull out the sword. I would try to talk them down, but I have 0 heart. So I'm not going to resort to threats here. My sword, I believe. Let me remind myself here. Yeah, I'm going to. Oh, I forgot that I have that advanced. It doesn't matter. I haven't gotten 12s. I'm gonna strike the first blow here, and I'm gonna also mark corruption to take a 10 plus because it's a small group of vampires.
Mm-hmm. All right. So on a hit, you inflict harm as established, and your opposition chooses 1. Okay, so they're going to inflict harm on you as well. On a 10 plus, you also choose 1. Like, I just want to find out what options we're each choosing, and then we can figure out what it looks like in the fiction.
I'm gonna inflict terrible harm here.
What does that mean? Like, how does your sword work again?
So just so you know, like I assume this is actually like a pretty effective weapon because I think it is holy, so it penetrates armor. I was checking, I forgot if it let me fight as like a small group. It doesn't. What it does, it is 3 harm, holy and anchored, so I can't lose it. And I think terrible harm means I inflict like an extra harm, but I'm also like, it's 3 against 1, so it's like I think they're like a small gang here, right? So I'm like dealing 3 harm to the gang.
Yeah. So I think that you'll with the extra harm. You'll take out 2 of them, but one of them will sort of battle through your defenses and manage to sink their fangs into you for 2 harm. I'm not sure if you have any armor. So Cathy, you see Maximus take out 2 of the vampires, but one of them manages to dig her fangs into Maximus's side. What are you doing?
I'm going to let it out and try to take out the last vampire. Oh, well.
Oh well.
Sorry, I have no idea how I accidentally booted myself out of the recording.
Cliffhanger.
So, David, go ahead and let it out.
Okay, fantastic. So this is with mind plus. No, it's not with mind. It's with spirit. That's the right one. Yeah, plus 3. 13 total.
Oh, nice. And it's always advanced for you, right? So,
right.
Your powers or abilities manifest in an unexpectedly useful way. You can mark corruption to make that manifestation a new ability. So, yeah, tell us about the unexpectedly useful way that your power manifests.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, it's already probably taking out the vampires. I'm trying to think of how it could be even better than that. Does it maybe heal harm for Maximus?
I mean, that seems like it's a different ability rather than a stronger version of the ability that you already have.
Well, I thought it's straight up you get a unique new thing.
Well, it
Yeah,
sort of says
it's
it's
not
like a stronger.
It's unexpectedly useful, not like necessarily stronger.
I'm open to other ideas if anyone can think of anything.
All right. So what you were going for was to use the psychic blast of ectoplasmic energy, right?
Yes.
And it's unexpectedly useful.
You could do like psychic damage and like kind of like hurt their ego so that they are like susceptible to suggestion. Like you kind of destroy their mind for a bit, and so they're extra susceptible.
Yeah. Would you want to say that like you're able to treat the psychic blast as if you like to ask a question from figuring them out?
Let me think. I was thinking maybe instead of treating it as like one question from figure someone out, could it be like one move, or not one move, but one pick from the mislead, distract, or trick list?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the only thing is that you're going to take the vampire out with your blast. So,
so it's no
if
point.
you want
anyway.
that to become a permanent let it out ability, that's okay. I just don't know that you get much benefit from it right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to make it something that's pertinent to the fiction right now. So let's do one that's you get one from figure something out or someone out. I'm trying to think of a question that doesn't have an obvious answer. Like, what's your
maybe it's
character's
not
beef
so
with
useful.
Maximus? Well, we're trespassing. Who's pulling your character strings? Probably Cleopatra.
Could Cathy pull the location of the dagger straight out of their mind?
I could, although I don't know that I need to. I assume Cleopatra carries it on her person, and technically I could move to the dagger at any time.
What if we just say that, like, the psychic connection to the vampires lets you learn something useful that isn't, not from any particular list.
That sounds simpler, yeah, than trying to come up with a
Okay.
specific thing, yeah.
So as you blast this vampire to dust with your psychic ectoplasm, for a moment you're connected to, not only to her, but to her psychic link back to Cleopatra. And you're able to observe the meeting that's going on somewhere else in London. So you see Ivar is there, of course. He's sitting down to what looks to be a formal dinner with someone from the Propitious Order. You see the face of the member of the order, and if you want, you can roll to put a name to a face and see if you can identify them.
Yeah, let's do that.
And if that doesn't work, you certainly will be able to recognize their face if you see them again.
Okay. So putting a name to a face, that is a circle move. And which circle am I rolling with?
Power.
Power. Okay, that's a -1, but we'll try it. Let's see. Did it roll?
I didn't see it roll.
I'll try it one more time here. There we go. 9 minus 1 is 8.
On a hit, you know their reputation. The MC will tell you what most people know about them. Yeah, so you recognize this as a member of the Propitious Order named Miranda. She's known to be one of the higher ranking initiates within the order, around the level of leadership, if not the leader herself. Are you going to tell... And I think that Maximus can see that, you're experiencing some sort of vision or revelation as the ectoplasm hits. Are you going to tell Maximus anything about what you just saw?
Yeah. I think there's this moment of kind of a stunned, glassy-eyed vacancy across my face. And I sort of come to slowly lowering my hand that the burst of energy emitted from. And I'll kind of turn to you, Maximus, and I'll ask with just a hint of nervousness in my voice. What's your relationship with Miranda of the Propitious Order?
Do I have a relationship with Miranda? Should I roll, put a name to a face to see what my relationship is?
I'm just thinking about that because it is someone that we established that you know something about, but we haven't like interacted with her or anything. So it's not going to make sense if you roll a miss.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. No, if you roll a miss, I'll just say that you owe them, so that works. So yeah, go ahead and put a name to a face.
Okay.
And sorry, I just want to let everyone know because we're gonna get to the end of the session soon. I think we'll go to time passes fairly soon. So Vicente and Regis, if you want to think about situations.
Okay, so let's see. I am rolling +1. And let's see what I get here. Oh, I accidentally rolled -1, so that's a 10.
Okay, so on a 10 plus, you've dealt. The MC will tell you what most people know about them. On a 10 plus, you learn something interesting or useful about them, or they owe you a debt. Your choice.
I wanted to establish my history with them, so I'll have a debt on them.
Okay. Why do they owe you a debt? Or maybe I'll fill in a little fiction about her first, and then.
Yeah, what do I know about them fictionally?
So you've suspected her for some time. Like she's definitely, there's all kinds of members of the orders who you keep tabs on, who you think might be doing something underhanded. And definitely she is someone that you see as, ambitious, as grasping, as someone who would be all too happy to overthrow Beecham and take leadership of the order, or even to go, beyond the order and find other ways to seize power for herself.
Yeah.
So why does she owe you a debt?
I think that and I'm always so bad with NPC names, so let me remind myself here. Oh, we don't have down here. Who is the other NPC member of the order that we've established?
Have we established any? There's
I
Desmond
thought there was
Beecham.
one I was that gave me my mission.
Yeah, that was Desmond Beecham, the leader.
Okay, Desmond. Yeah.
I believe Sophia is also a member, and so is Vivian. But we haven't met Vivian.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just adding Desmond Beecham there to the NPC list.
Thanks.
I think that she had me like place a few bugs for her in Desmond's offices.
Wow, you really have betrayed the order so much.
I mean, she's a member of the order, though. This is like what the order does. They're all betraying each other.
Oh.
Look, you're beginning to see why I might be trying to start my own faction. they like these guys clearly are maybe not the best at it. They're just the most powerful.
And so, okay, so Cathy asks you if you know Miranda, or I think you said, what's your relationship with Miranda like?
Yeah, I'll say she's a member of the order. I've gotten myself involved in a few of her really, I'd like to say power plays, but I've always suspected that there was something more of petty schemes that always go on in the order.
I see.
So we are going to need to wrap this up soon, but I guess just like the dramatically interesting question to me is, does Cathy tell Maximus what she knows in this moment, or not yet?
I'd have to wait until the meeting's over.
Okay. So you just spontaneously out of nowhere say, what do you know about Miranda? And then don't explain further.
I think I'll say we should pay her a visit soon.
Okay, that
I give you a look, and why exactly should we do that, Cathy?
I just experienced a premonition of some kind. It's hard to say. But if you seek to do battle with Ivar, Miranda may be someone who stands in your way.
I already failed, so I think I sigh and say, very well. Is your dagger here?
I think that we're just going to cut the scene.
Yeah, and then we'll cut there. But that's what we were here. That's what I thought we were here for, at least.
Yeah. So that the scene continues, but we're going to cut away from it. So, David, just to answer your question from the chat, if you scroll down towards the bottom of the character keeper, there's a list of corruption advancements, and you can choose one of those for having filled your corruption track.
Awesome.
Basically, it's a stat increase or a corruption move, I think.
Okay.
So time is going to pass here. So each of you gets at least one city move. Stephen, if I remember right, you have 2 status now. I think that means you get...
Yeah, I get 2 city moves.
Cool.
Unless someone wants to interfere with me, and then I only get... Like, unless somebody wants to burn their 1 to, like, make me only get 1.
Interesting. So let's start with Vicente, if that's okay. What is your status 1 city move going to be?
You know, I should probably be doing something constructive with it, but I'm going to tend to my business.
Nice. So let's see. Tell that when you tend to your business instead of meddling in city affairs, tell the MC how you pass the time and roll.
I mean, how else would Vicente pass the time? Partying. getting very drunk, very high, hooking up with people.
Okay. Well, go ahead and roll.
Just roll flat.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't say what you roll with. Stephen, do you know tend to your business, is that a flat roll?
Yeah, I think tend to your business is basically
Okay.
Yeah, you just roll flat.
Okay, thanks.
Cool.
7. So on a hit, an old friend or new ally approaches you with a request for help. Okay, and you mark corruption if you turn them down. So we'll find out next session what that looks like. Regis, what is your city?
Yeah, so first off, I don't know if I so I think I'm currently technically status 0 with my circle. So I don't know if I get a city move right now. Just because of the way that I advanced.
Okay, let me just have a quick look.
You are status 1, so...
When you change circles, do you automatically start at status 1?
Oh, you change circles?
Sorry, it does say, I'm just looking at it now, set your status in your new circle to status 1 and reduce your status in your old circle by 1.
Thank you very much. Okay, I was wondering about that. Okay, I'm also going to tend to my business. I know it's not super interesting, but Sophia had talked about him needing to understand himself better. He wants to know about, he's trying to do some self-reflection.
Okay, we'll go ahead and roll.
All right. 2d6. 6. Okay, so that's not good.
On a miss, an NPC interrupts your day-to-day business to cash in a debt you hoped they'd forgotten about, mixing you up in a mess with your circle you'd have avoided. So I have an idea here. Sorry, I meant to say this earlier, but last time you agreed to do a favor for Marcus and then you decided not to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that he probably gets a debt on you for you not doing what you'd said. And I think that Marcus is going to want you to help him out with something since he's part of your circle or part of your... Well, no, now you're in power. So I guess it has to be someone else. All right, I'll think about it some more for next time.
Thank you.
Maximus, what are your city moves going to be?
I think I am going to try to marshal my forces in the circle to weaken the hold on... I'm just remembering everyone's names. I'm always so bad with this. That... of the faction that holds the control of that drug lab.
Yeah, so it doesn't exactly have a faction name. It's just like Evar's drug ring.
Okay, that's straight up Evar's. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to marshal my faction's forces to or my circle's forces to weaken the hold on that.
Does that mean that you're like wielding the order to try and like smash Eva's operation?
Yeah, so this is a status 2 city move. That means on a hit, I can give a debt to a powerful NPC of my circle. It would probably be Desmond here.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's your choice. So you can pick
Okay.
someone in power.
Okay.
To reduce my target's strength or weaken their hold on a specific asset. My choice.
Okay.
In this
Yeah.
case, it would be weaken their hold.
Yeah, cool. Go ahead and roll.
Okay. Why does it keep going? I want it to go up. Okay, there we go. That's a 12,
Nice.
which doesn't give me, I don't think, anything extra here.
Yeah.
But it does mean that I just owe the one debt, and I successfully weaken the hold.
Is there a specific asset that you have in mind?
I just said that was the asset I was trying to the drug lab.
Okay, I had forgotten what they're. So their assets technically are hidden safe houses, and their armed goons are gone. So I guess you're weakening their.
I guess yeah, they're hidden safe houses. Those I'd like, sure.
Okay. Cool. And you've got another.
Yeah, I'm gonna lay claim to some hidden safe houses. So I roll again with status, and who do I owe a debt for that?
To Desmond.
To Desmond. Okay. Let me just mark that down. I owe or you should mark that down. That does.
I'll mark it down as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see what I get for this other one. That's a 7. So on partial for city moves for this one, I get I think it's my claim is going to choke off factional retaliation. I think that Ivar is not going to be able to retaliate against me for claiming this asset.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. And I'll tell you what benefits it brings. I'll think about that for next time.
Okay.
Cool. And Cathy, what are you doing?
I would like to consult my contacts.
But I also owe another debt, just so you know, it says.
Is that to Desmond? Yeah.
Nice. On a hit.
Your claim is probably, but yeah, it just says that your claim doesn't cost you a debt is one of the options. All right, I'll think about who it makes sense that the debt is to. Thanks. All right, Cathy.
I'm gonna consult contacts in night.
Okay.
And that doesn't let me mark night, does it?
Sorry?
And that doesn't let me mark night by chance, does it?
I think a city move might let you. No, it doesn't.
No, it's just the circle moves.
Okay. But I'll still roll with night, and that gives me 2d6 plus 1.
So who are your contacts in night that you're consulting?
Ooh, that's an important question, isn't it? Other than Cleopatra, do I have any night contacts? I guess I have Mark.
If it's just, yeah, it could be someone that we haven't met yet.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe there's
I mean, the werewolf art dealer knows a lot of secrets. That might be a good choice.
Yeah, maybe I'll go to because that's kind of where I'm thinking of going with consulting my contacts is uncovering some secrets. So I'll go to Mark if it's okay to keep using him.
Sure.
So go ahead and roll.
Yeah, roll with your status in night.
Okay. 7, just barely got it.
Nice. So on a hit, ask 3. Your contacts will answer to the best of their ability. On a 7 to 9, hold 1. that you can use to take a 10+ instead of rolling to act on the information.
Oh, okay. I'll make a note of that one hold. So I get 3. That's a lot. So
Yeah.
I'll lead with the big one. I tell me if this is asking too much. I want to ask what happened to me. Basically, I'm trying to ask if they know who killed me, whether it was Cleopatra in particular.
Interesting. I love that. So, I mean, are you is the question, did Cleopatra kill me, or is the question, who arranged my death? I think they are slightly different.
I want to know who actually killed me.
Then, yes, the answer is Cleopatra killed you with the dagger.
Okay. So
Um,
that's one.
if it's convenient, just because we're nearly out of time for today, do you want to just message me the questions on Discord or email and we can resolve them between sessions?
That's perfect. Yeah, I'll shoot you a message and we'll go from there.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you. So now we're going to go to the end of session moves. So everyone think about what, where is it? So decide if you've grown closer to a circle you engage with this session, increase your score in that circle, and decrease your score in a different circle. So let's go left to right again. So Vicente, have you grown closer to a circle you engaged with this time?
Maybe the only ones I've interacted with. Well, the only one I interacted with really was Power.
I mean, also Mortalis. You've hung out with Regis a fair bit.
Yeah, but he's Power now.
Oh, that's right. You're right. And I guess the werewolves a little bit.
That's true. Werewolves. You're right. I don't think I'm gonna do anything with the score or with the status. What is that called? There's the status, and then there's the like marked if you interacted with it, and then there's just like the number. I'll leave them as they are.
I think they're called ratings, but I'm not totally sure. All right, thank you.
Ratings.
Cathy, what about you?
Did I really grow closer to Power? I know I grew further from Night because I blasted a bunch of vampires, but I don't know. I teamed up with Maximus, who's a somewhat influential figure within Power, so maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what does that mean? I tick Power up 1 and Night down 1?
If that works for you, and you can mark Night, and that'll get you an advance, a circle advance.
Oh, fabulous. Okay, we'll do that then.
All right, great. Maximus, what about you?
I mean, I definitely got closer to Night. Because, like, obviously, I know I can trust one person at Night.
Uh-huh.
I'm probably gonna tick down Wild. I've pissed off Wild pretty thoroughly at this point.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And Regis, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I had a moment of intimacy with fairy, so I think I'm probably going to turn up Wild. And yet again, I didn't deal with anything mortal, so I'm gonna put down Mortalis again, I think.
Wow. All right. So thanks everyone. I'm going to end the recording there, and then we'll do stars and wishes.
Thank you very much.